Can you hear me, Donna? If you can hear me, your mic is muted. Mic is muted. Kim, can you hear me? Your mic's muted too. What's going on?
Can you hear me now?
I can.
Oh, hi. Can you hear me? This is Open-Minded Mystics. If anybody can hear me, you can hear me, Tracy. Okay. So we're dealing with.
I have no idea what's happening. I'm on my phone.
Okay, we hear you now.
Okay, I don't know what the heck.
It says you're muted. Do you see that you're
muted? Yeah, but I'm totally not muted. So
okay, you're not muted. It says you're muted. Like your mic is. It has
okay,
a little thing.
You guys do me a favor, Johnny Benson. I love the fact that you're there for us and you're letting us know. The wildest thing is my computer is going nuts, but it's perfect because tonight's show is all about pressure. And we want to talk about pressure.
Pressing down.
I was like, oh my God, let me just try to put the video back up again. And I'm like trying to remove myself from the stream. It's the craziest situation.
Bananas. Well, it's Open-Minded Mystics Monday, ladies and gentlemen. We are so excited to see everyone. Donna is dealing with our technical difficulties, but I'm Tracy Locke and Kim Mazzella is in the house, ladies and gentlemen. And Donna put together that amazing slideshow to Queen's Pressure, which I think could not be a better song, especially, and it's so apropos for everything that is happening in this world. And what we're talking about tonight is dealing with pressure. And we're talking about the placemat process, which I thought was the placement process. I was like, wait a minute, an actual placemat? Like, ooh, this is going to be exciting. You know, when you go to the restaurant, you get the cool placemat where it has games on it for kids. Or you can draw. Well, whenever I go out with my niece and nephew, I look for a placemat like that so we can play hangman and stuff. So I know this has nothing to do with that, but I know we're going to be doing some writing tonight, which I'm really excited. Yeah. So the placemat process. Oh my God, Kim.
Well, you know, it's interesting. The reason why I said let's talk about the placemat process is because in my own life, I was just saying before we got on that I have never. I always listened to Marianne Williamson when I was young, and she would say, it's not that you're going to stop having challenges. What happens is it's almost like you walk up a staircase and then you get to a new plateau, and what's in front of you but another staircase. Now, You're maybe on level 3, but you're still going to have what feels like the same staircase to walk up, right? So when you fall down the staircase, you never really go back down to level 1, but the fall feels the same every time, right? So when you fall, but right now I feel super overwhelmed in my life, like super overwhelmed. So I'm moving. My daughter's going to college. My son's going back to college. And my coworker had a heart attack. So I've had to take on her job too. So I'm doing 2 jobs at work while I'm moving, while I'm going to Italy and Utah and having a party for my daughter all in the same week. So I've been feeling like, so I woke up one morning and I was feeling like I was gonna cry. I just felt like I was just so overwhelmed. And now, because I know that I'm not the type of person to allow myself to feel sorry for myself for too long, I did let myself feel sorry for myself for about a couple of days. And then I said, okay, you're going to have to, because I know the law of attraction works all the time, right? I know that just because I'm having a challenging time doesn't mean the law of attraction says I'm going to turn off and you're allowed to be emotionally wounded right now, right? Like you're allowed to stay in emotional wounds, right? Stay in that emotional place. Hello, everybody who's out there. So that is why I'm just so excited to talk about this. I really feel like everybody in the earth should know how to do this. And when I said, let's talk about the placemat process, because I did it, and I thought I taught it to everybody, but it turns out I have never taught it.
I've taken your 12-week course, and I have to say I'd like a partial refund because I never got taught that.
And I am excited. Let's talk about that, ladies and gentlemen. You need to get your pens and paper ready, because when Kim gives a tool, that's one thing open-minded mystics we love to do, is give you, the audience, tools that you can take home, use, read over and over again. You can utilize it. It's something that I'm really proud of that we do. And I'm so excited for this, Kim, because neither Donna or I have done this, and we are all feeling that crazy stress. And so I cannot tell you how excited I am to be like, oh, I have something I can physically do to like alleviate some of this pressure. So I would advise everybody, get a pen and paper and really focus on what's going on, because when Kim tells you and gives you a tool, use it. They work. They're awesome.
One of the things that I do, and I'm going to start a new one, is, sorry. I use
Donna, what do you put in front of the camera? Is that your finger or what?
No, you know what I'm doing? I'm really sorry just for the distraction. Wait, let me just say this. Right now, I'm holding my arm up and I'm breaking out into a complete sweat because my computer is just not working. I'm actually going to restart it because that's what I could do and it'll be fine. But I know.
Do you have a little stand you could stop and put it on for a second?
Yeah, exactly.
No, why don't I know that part? I know what I'm doing. I'm trying to like make it so that we're all the same size in the stream and it's not working. I feel like I'm that person on the Zoom call that's like, okay, what the heck happened? My lights.
That's naked.
I think they say Saturn's in retrograde. Is that what it is? Saturn's in retrograde? Is it Saturn?
Yes.
I don't know. Something's in retrograde always.
Always. Well, I think I was born with every planet in retrograde. Does that like kind of just wipe them all out? That's my
Is that what happened to my parents?
Yeah,
Could someone, astrologer out there, tell me what happens when every single one of your planets is in retrograde?
You're going to explode. But go ahead, go on.
Exactly.
Well, I hope not. I hope I don't explode. But
no dairy and you'll be fine. Just continue. Let's go to that.
So, see these little notebooks? I actually buy them on purpose for this particular tool. Okay, they're called a Greg ruled notebook. It's like a steno pad, but you could just get a piece of paper and just put a line down in the middle of it. And the reason why they call it the Placemat Process was because Esther Hicks of Abraham Hicks was in happened to be in a restaurant, and in front of her was a placemat, and she was feeling like she had taken on everything. She loved being her business, and she used to say she loved every aspect of her business, but she felt like at that point in her life, she just had taken on way too much. And the thing is, when I was feeling like this the other morning, I was like, wait, you're an energy being. You're not just a physical person. You're an energy being. Use the aspects of you that are energy to draw things to you. Now I'm hearing myself repeat myself.
It's Donna. Don't worry. Just keep going, Kim. We got you. We got you.
I'm sweating.
Donna's being abducted by aliens, ladies and gentlemen. If you were watching, this is a hologram of Donna. She's actually been abducted, and I'm negotiating on the side with the aliens to get her back. But go ahead, Kim.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're on your computer.
Yeah, just know that I'm here for you guys. If you
but your hair is purple. I don't know what happened, but your hair is purple. Do you know that?
I know. I'm gonna go work for the Geek Squad next. That's what I'm gonna do. All right.
Well, you figured it out. I'm super, super duper impressed, Donna, because I'm going to be crying in the corner.
While you're all watching, I figured that out. Okay.
I mean, look at you. You are a woman here. You roar. Everybody should give a little round of applause for
yes.
Donna.
For a techno guru.
Talk about being stressed out, and you handled that beautifully. Way to go, Donna. We're all
just don't come near my armpits, but you could just draw a line down them.
I've got our line. We've got it. All right. What's next?
So the reason you want to do this is there's this guy, Brian Tracy. And if anybody ever in the business world, he's like a great business guru, and he really gives you ways to approach business. So because even though I am spiritual, I do like to listen to all of the gurus out there. And one of the things he says is you should always write lists, always have a piece of paper by your desk or a notebook by your desk, and always write lists, because what happens is when it's in your head, it has power over you, so much more power over you. But if you write it down in a piece of paper, it's like you're letting the universe know it's out there. And then you're freeing up space in your brain, right? So that morning I was just thinking, I was enumerating all the things I had to do. And I was feeling like I'm never going to get this done. It's just, everything is going to fail. I'm just going to stay in bed. And I'm a life coach. So, you got to kind of toe the party line. So I said, get your butt up and do something, right? And this was like at 4:00 in the morning. And I'm going to tell you by 5:00 in the morning, I felt so much better. It did take a little bit of time. So on one column, you're going to write, and you're going to be realistic. And so think about it do it for tomorrow, because I hope nobody is writing things for them to do today. So on the left column, what I write is things I am going to do today. And here's the thing about the things I'm going to do today column. Do not write one thing down if you think you're not going to get it done. You're going to actually write what you're going to get done today, right? If you are going to say, I'm going to paint my house red, move my house back 5 feet, polish my car, create global peace, you're going to not finish your list. Okay.
That's unrealistic.
Yeah. If you can't think of anything that you could do today, and you could just say, make your bed, because that was actually how I started, right? Because it was 4:00 in the morning, and I as a life coach, I always teach, make your bed, even if the rest of your house is a mess, even if there's not one clean thing in your house, make your bed, because you're saying, I'm the most important thing in this house, right? And that if I come home to a clean bed, or a made bed, even if the sheets are dirty, who cares? If I come home to a made bed, I'm saying I'm important. These are the little things that you could do. So for tomorrow, maybe write down the things that you have to get done, right?
Good for you, Marie.
Yeah, that's great, Marie. Yeah. Well, you know what? I want to say something, Kim, that I think is really important for what you're talking about really quickly. I listened to Rob Dial. He does a it's called the Mindset Mastery. Anyway, but one thing he's talking about, what you're talking about, which I think is a great way, it's like a Donna analogy. He said, you wouldn't try to do a really difficult math problem without writing it down. So why are you asking your brain to remember and do all these difficult things without writing it down? He's like, exactly what you're saying. It's so much clearer for yourself when you can see it on paper, just like a math problem, which I thought was great because I hate math. And I was like, yes, I would never try to do a math problem in my head. Never, never, never.
Well, that's why I love scripting so much, because you think you know what you want, right? You think you know, like, I know I'm going off topic because scripting is a different tool. You think you know what you want, but when you actually try to outline it with words and make it fit, because words are sort of a physical presence of they're a physical symbol to a physical thing, right? And when you try to outline what you want with words and you write it down, because I have so many clients like, I'm not going to write it down, I'm just going to do it in my head. I'm like, yeah. But if you write it down, you might be shocked at how different it ends up looking on the paper, and how maybe you gave yourself more, or because you have to think it out, right? So I'm going to be honest about how I do it, and then I'm going to, because on the left side, you're supposed to write what I'm going to do today. On the right side, you have to write down what the universe is going to do. What I did at 4:00 in the morning, and what I always do when I do the placemat process, because I'm a rebel. I don't know. I don't necessarily.
You're a rebel.
Oh, I'm
I'm
such a Abraham Hicks rebel. So I tend to, because I'm a stream of conscious person, I just have to write it all down, right? So what I do, and I think it's easier, nothing against you, Abraham, but I think it's easier just to not decide, just to write it all down. Like, and big things to little things. So it might be like, plan my daughter's party, order the food, or figure out what I'm going to wear to Italy, or, figure out words for graduation program, and doing so many little things, little tasks at work. So I include the tasks at work that I have to get done, the things in life, and those things all sounded so glamorous and fun. Notice that?
Wow, Kim, I have to tell you, you sound like no pressure at all. I'm going to Italy, and my daughter's having a party.
I mean, myself sounds so.
This is me, and then there's Kim.
Success.
I'm like, plan my trip to Istanbul. I'm like, no.
Yes, and then I'll be planning my trip across Africa.
My jet plane. I have to clean up my jet plane.
You're like, I will be taking the Orient Express, won't I?
You should all go watch the episodes on manifesting. That's how she got all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm manifesting the Orient Express. I'm ready, kids. I'm ready.
I just want Chinese food. No, just kidding.
But there's some like real jobs in there, like a lot of little things that I have to get done.
Yes.
And because I'm the mother of 2 children who who are going back to school, and there's all that detail, and just paying their bills and making sure all of that is organized. It feels to me like sometimes the weight of the world is on my shoulders. So what I tend to do is start on a different sheet of paper and write one big list and just get it all out, right? Get it all out. So if you want to take a second and do that, we can do that. Because then what I do is then I make the things that I'm going to do today. And then the most important second piece is things the universe is going to do. Now, put it on that list, even if you're like, the universe is not going to do this. I'm going to have to end up doing it. It doesn't matter. This is energy work here, people. This is not physical work, right? This is energy work. We're giving it energy. And what you're doing is you're enlisting your guides, the universe, whatever you believe in, your friends. You're creating the energy. Once you write it down on the things the universe is going to do, that starts the vibrational energy of getting the universe to pitch in. And so make your list of things that you're going to do today so small, because you want to start giving the universe some things to do. Now, I'm not going to lie. There's plenty of times where the things that my universe is going to do may end up on the things I'm going to do today list a couple days later, right? I'm not going to lie.
Oh, that universe, so lazy.
But it might be better. It might be easier. Or I might not feel so overwhelmed when I'm doing it.
Okay.
And the other thing is, some things on the things the universe are going to do get taken away from you. And that's why, don't take my word for it. Try it. Like, right? So try it.
So wait, I just want to clarify, because I'm a little confused. So for instance, okay, so I have my line and I have my paper. And so like, here's a great example. So get new advertisers for the OMM podcast, right?
Mm-hmm.
That would be something that I'm going to put on the universe side, right?
Well, no. Are you going to do it tomorrow?
No. I'm saying I want that to be in action as I do other things, right? So that's my confusion. As Marie says, I'm lost. The lists are the same?
No, the lists are not the same. The first list is just letting the universe know what you're planning on doing today, right? Like the things that you have to get done. So like if I have to call a client, right? Or if I have to call a vendor, I'll say, well, okay, I'll give one. I have to call my son's dentist because he has to have some sort of grafting done on his gums, right? So she gave me the name of two people. I didn't want like the one guy, and nothing against him. He was fine. It just didn't jive with me. So I want to try the other person, and I lost the card. So I put call dentist to get additional names on that list, because I need to do that tomorrow. I know I'm going to do that tomorrow, and that's something I have to get done and something I want on the list. Another thing that I have to do is, I have to I have to speak to some vendors at work. So I might write that down too. Things I'm really got to do that I got to remember.
Like more practical things.
Yeah.
Everyday
your to-do list that you would do every day. Like, or
that goes on one side.
Correct.
And the big stuff that you want.
No, not the big stuff. Even things that you got to do later. Like if maybe I was going to call the dentist next week, I might call dentist next week. But here's the thing. If I give it to the universe, maybe the dentist will call me. Right? Maybe that's going to be easier. Maybe my son will be like, I called the dentist. Why we want to give everything that we're not going to do tomorrow to the universe, is because you're asking, make this easier for me. Help me out. That's what you're saying. Help me out. I cannot do this alone. I need you to help me out.
Okay,
right?
Hold on. Wait. Because it is confusing, and I just want to clarify. So whatever you're putting on the things for me to do list, you're putting also on the other side of things for the universe to do.
No. The only thing that goes on the things for me to do are the things I'm going to do that day, right? So that's why I do it in the morning. I did it in the morning. So what I'm going to do today, it better get done today if it's going to get done today. Anything that you're going to do tomorrow or the next day goes on the things for the universe to do. Even if you're going to do it tomorrow, anything that you have to get done tomorrow, put on the things for the universe to do. Does that make sense? Here's the thing.
No, doesn't make any. It's like very confusing. Wait a second. Okay.
So can I give you an analogy? Because I want to help. Can I help?
Go ahead.
And then I might be wrong, but first you're going to go over to YouTube. You're going to actually go to Abraham Hicks' page, and you're going to listen to her do an entire speech about it if you're confused after this. Mm-hmm. So one of my things that I love, you don't have to be sorry, Marie. This is like definitely something that is new to everyone. And we don't have the actual verbiage that Abraham Hicks has. And we're doing this in our, in our own way. And Kim is explaining it, but I think it's because Kim understands what she's explaining. So when you're trying to teach somebody something that but they don't know, it sometimes can be confusing. Yeah. Oh, you're so cute. Thanks, Angelique, very much. I appreciate it. It's Dragonfly. I love them. So on the list, things I'm going to get done today. Pretend the other side doesn't exist right now. You're going to write down all the things you have to do. You have to go get your oil changed. You have to go make a deposit to the bank. You have to go pick up bagels for the class or something. I don't even know.
Right. Got it. Got that.
And then there's other stuff that you probably have to do. Like I have to face the fact that I have to figure out what's going on with my business, and I'm putting my head so far in the sand right now. I'm breathing barnacles. Now, so I'm going to put that on the side of the things for the universe to do, because what I'm hoping is I'm going to have something that's going to magically happen, and I'm going to get a phone call, and it's going to be, hey, guess what? I heard of a space that just opened up. I'm not actively doing that work. I also think that if we can kind of take this to a place of manifesting, which we all know how to, put out your script, right? This is basically like scripting in a food shopping way. Like you're going to go to the food store and you're going to make your list, but now we're going to actually manifest and script the things that we want also. How does that sound? Kind of good, Kim, or no?
Yeah. And so like on the list of things the universe is going to do are things that you have to get done in the future, things that you want to get done in the future, and things that you need help with. Right.
Got it.
So I'm really struggling with seats. I cannot get seats for my return flight. Right. And it feels frightening because I'm going to be flying alone from Florence home. Right. I'm flying by myself and I have to stop at a layover, and it's and they're not letting me get seats. So I don't know why. I think because they don't release them until later. So I'm going to put on my list of the things the universe is going to do, get me really great seats on my flight home. Seats I feel good about, right?
Right, got it.
I might even say seats next to people who don't want to talk. I might actually add that to my list of things to do. Right? So does that make sense? So, yes. But the thing is, you want to get as much of it out of your head. All that stuff stewing, anything that you think you got to do in a year even, and it's stewing in your head. Give the universe some lead time so that it could start working on these things. And there are things that you're saying, listen, I need help with this. The universe has to do this for me. Right? And so then when you go to do it, you might find that you don't have to do what you thought you had to do. Or you may find, because it's just like scripting. It's scripting your daily tasks. Does that make sense? Does it feel easier?
You're repeating this. You do this daily. So it's like an active way to write and give yourself. I mean, I honestly am the worst. Like I have books in my house I've never read and paper that's never been written on. It's the truth. But you do know that when you put pen to paper and you write it, it happens. It really does. It does happen more often than not.
Right. And the thing about feeling overwhelmed is a lot of time when you feel overwhelmed, it's because you have a lot of judgment in your in energy field about what other people are thinking about you, what you're experiencing. Like there's judgment always, even self-judgment when it comes to when you feel overwhelmed. So when you get it on a piece of paper, you're like taking that judgment away because you're taking power over it, right? It's a way to take charge of your life. Now, did my life? Yes.
Marie says this is similar to when you write down what you want during the new moon, then a new list what you want in a new full moon. Actually, I think that's tomorrow is the 14th, and there's a big old moon happening tomorrow. So thanks for the reminder, Marie.
Yeah, but it's also when you have an overwhelming list of tasks and you can only do certain things today, you want to get the things that you have to do in the future on that other side, because you're saying like, so I have an overwhelming number of tasks. And so like if you're having a party, right? And you know that today you can get this, and this, but tomorrow you got to get that, and that. Right. You put that, and that on your things the universe could do, even though it really sounds like a things I got to do tomorrow list. But what you're doing is you're enlisting the universe help to stop, to take over some of these things, even though they may go on your list of things you have to do today, tomorrow. But does that make sense?
A little bit more. Here's a question. So I know one of the topics that we're discussing tonight, because this process helps you with it, is feeling overwhelmed. So let's focus a little bit on that. So what the tasks are that you are feeling completely overwhelmed about having to do, and you know that you cannot maybe actually do it. Like Kim talked about her flight, and I talked about my business, and you talk about advertising. It's by putting it out, I think that the answers come to you too. Sometimes not necessarily does the task itself get done, but by putting it out there, you'll be guided in the correct direction to have it happen.
Right. And it's always like that time I lost that earring. I always tell you that about that time I lost that earring. And so I lost an emerald earring, and it was like a wedding gift, and it was expensive, and I never wore them. And the one time I wore them, I lost them. I lost one. And I remember thinking, this cannot be, right? This just cannot be, right? And so I looked everywhere I could think to look. And then I said, I'm not thinking about this anymore. And I basically said to the universe, you have to send it to me. You just have to send it to me. And I walked away. I was you are going to send it to me, right? And my daughter, 4 hours later, toddled over to me with the earring. She was 2 or 3. And she said, pretty, pretty. And she had my earring. She had found it in the rug in my living room. And so would I have found it eventually? Maybe. But I was like, no, you will give it to me, and you will give it to me today. And they gave it to my daughter, right? So that's kind of how I think about putting it out to the universe, like scripting. This is a version of scripting with the details of your life. It's a version
Uber Eats for the universe.
Yeah.
You would have maybe vacuumed that up, and you would have not known it. You would have eventually heard a noise. But, the fact that your daughter brought it over is pretty awesome, actually.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And delivered. Totally.
Yeah. She was pretty. And I was like, oh, that is more than pretty. That goes right back
expensive.
in the thing. And
pretty expensive.
Exactly. I love this. Marie says, I say a prayer to St. Anthony, and usually helps me find it. I guess it's a spiritual thing.
Yes.
Totally. I've been praying to St. Anthony forever.
Yeah. I think St. Anthony rocks. So thank you, St. Anthony.
I think that's a North Jersey thing. And also I want to say, we have William Purdy, who watches us all the time. Wanted to just say he lost his grandmother today. So if we could just, acknowledge that.
I'm
William,
so
really sorry about that. I know he's from PA. He's a Eagles fan, and he's watched a bunch of our different shows. So that's how he came to find us. And I'm so sorry about that. And that's another reason to feel overwhelmed. I mean, I actually have a friend who lost her dad today, actually this morning, and I felt overwhelmed because I still have not responded back to my dad died today, because my day was a series of events I knew it was going to become more. I think social media has definitely added to the feeling of overwhelmment.
Yeah.
And just even the phone and having to feel like you have to respond to certain messages. Do you guys ever feel that way? Like you're part of a group and you feel like, oh my God, I have to respond to this. But sometimes you just want to be like, I wish there was a busy little message you could put up and be like, I'm sorry, I'm not near my phone. But then everyone would know that you're right there answering.
Well, yeah. And I think, I think it's fair to say that. I'm so sorry. I need to talk to you about this. I can't right now, but please know I'm thinking of you, like a little thing like that. Yeah. Because it's a lot of pressure to be available 24/7. And I don't think it's smart, and I don't think it's good for people at all. I think it just ratchets that pressure up a millionfold.
In a way, we all are connected in a way that we weren't before, which is fabulous. It's really great that we can connect, but are we really connecting? And that's the problem. It's almost like it's just 24/7. So you don't have that ability to really rest. And so when I say overwhelmment always has a bit of judgment in it, right? Because if we didn't care what they thought, if we didn't worry about what everybody, else was going to, I mean, of course, there's also just our daily lives can have too much in them, right? And so part of learning how to say no, part of learning how not to be so accessible, you can get back to that person 24 hours later and still be love worthy, Donna. I mean, sometimes your day goes. I know my days. Sometimes I always say I can't describe my job except to say that sometimes there's 3 people waiting to talk to me, and as soon as those 3 people are done, there's 3 people beyond that, and then there's 3, and people will call me, and I'll be like, hey, I can't talk about. It's just my day goes, and then I get there at 6, and it's 3:15, and I look up, and I'm like, wow, I haven't gone to the bathroom or had lunch, right? Like, so
Wow.
it's not that you are trying to be rude. It's just that I think that we have to set up better expectations of ourselves, right? So set better boundaries of ourselves. Like, it's okay for me not to respond. My boyfriend has on his work thing. He'll say, I'll get back to you within 48 hours. I'm like, 48 hours? That's awesome. The amount of time that he gives himself to return a call, 48 hours. And maybe if you thought of, those texts like that, although yes, of course.
Yeah, but we can't, because people know that you're physically doing it. I've thought of this because I will have like clients, that maybe are, have our numbers and stuff like that at work. And it's just a challenging thing to do because it is looked at as rude if you don't respond or if you don't answer or you don't get back, because it's just a strange world we live in with all of the accessibility.
You're not the first person who's talked to me about this. And maybe there is a thing that I don't know. I think that we are the first generation of like full accessibility. And I honestly think we have to get it better, right? Like, we have to do better at this because we haven't done well by our children. I know that because they don't know how to live life like without this, right? Like
we follow them, like we follow them on these apps, and I guess it's good and Life 360 or whatever the heck this stuff is, but it's just like, I remember a day I used to go into Mandy's and shop for 2 hours and no one assumed I was dead on the side of the road. You know what I mean? It was it's the weirdest thing.
Yeah, like
I kind of miss being
MIA, and you're just doing your thing, and you're just,
my son will say it all the time.
My kids don't respond ASAP, but expect me to respond immediately.
Yeah, that's true.
The truth.
That is so true. And it is unfortunate. Like, we have to get better at this. I mean, I honestly think that is a group we should have. Like, let's have responsible social interactions on, because, if someone would call you at your house, even, first place, there was a time there wasn't answering machines. And I remember those times, right?
Right.
But I remember getting answering machines. I remember when I was depressed and I was in my 20s and playing my answering machine on with the volume off because I couldn't handle, like, this was, this is the reason I became a life coach, is I had to learn all this stuff, but because I couldn't handle it. But that was just messages on my machine, and it's coming at us 24/7, right? 24/7. And maybe we should all have an outgoing message. Please understand, I may take 24 hours to respond, or 48, or I don't look at my computer on the weekends. I mean, that would be insanity. It's hard, but that's
the unread emails I have on my phone, and my method, it's like, it'll freak certain people out. I know. I have 20,000 unread emails on Yahoo alone.
I have like 17,000.
Right, because it gets crazy. It's like everywhere you go, they send you an email. Everything you buy, they send you an email. I've been taking a lot of time to unsubscribe
Me too.
because I'm like, I feel the same way. I have like 8,000 emails, and I'm like, I can't get to all this, and how am I supposed to figure out what's imperative, what's important, and then you miss emails. It's a nightmare. And I agree with you. It's like, I don't want to be accessible 24/7.
No, I want to live in the woods or something, and like,
well, you want to be where you are, and the only way to be where you are is to fully be in the moment. And you can't be in the moment when you're like, which is the problem with the younger generation. They're not never, but they're rarely in the moment. And I feel badly for them. Like, I can't even tell you how many times I've been out with people at a restaurant or a coffee shop, and I'll be like, look at those kids over there. I feel so sorry for them because
they're together and
they're all together and they're all like this and nobody's talking. And I was like, those were some of the best times in my life when I hung out with my friends and we didn't have anything to do other than sit around and joke around and talk and just like get to know each other in a way that you never can when you have an agenda all the time. And you know what's interesting? It's so weird to me. My niece and nephew who are now 10 and will be 13, said to me, Aunt Tracy, I wish that we lived in the 80s. And it was completely unprovoked. Like, we weren't talking about anything. And I was like, why would you say that? And they said, it sounded like you have so much fun. We never get to just hang out with our friends with no phones, no drama. Like, literally, we could be sitting there and I could be like texting, like, oh my God, Kim, what is going on with Donna? Blah, blah, blah. Right when Donna's sitting there. Do you know what I'm saying? And you can tell when weird stuff's going on, and these kids have to deal with that.
I mean, and also
Thanks.
the other thing is like, we did not know so many things that were going on. One of the things I always say to my best friend, because we're so friends, is we are so lucky. We had no idea about the parties we weren't invited to. Right? We had no clue how uncool we were. Right? Like, we just didn't know.
The thing of it is, it just lends itself to so much compare and despair. Whether you're you are that type of person, even if you are not predisposed to that kind of behavior, I think it's like impossible to not. When you see people doing X, Y, Z, especially as a kid.
Well, there's two things too. Our kids are like, and this is, I'm going to take onus of this too. It's hard not to get swept up in it. Our kids are super overscheduled, right? So there's dance and my son was in 2 sports a season, right? So my daughter was always in a sport and always in a play and so they're very, very scheduled. And when they're not scheduled, they're on their phones. They don't know how to organically.
This is making my flowers in the attic type rec room childhood seem pretty swanky, because I was not in any sports until I got to like high school, when I was like looking for my escape plan from home. And I was like, I want to do shot put and discus because I don't have to run. But it's so true. It's so funny. And with the whole bullying stuff and the pressure from that, the bullying continues once you're home, because your safe space is no longer, you still have
no safe space. Yeah, you just nailed it on the head. There is no safe space for
but
these
the thing
kids.
is, we can change it. Like, we could start here, like that. Maybe that should be our new, like, how my
put that on the things to get the
universe.
Because my daughter goes to, like, she was a Girl Scout, like from 2nd grade to 12th grade, and she went to Girl Scout camp once a week, and you take her phone home with you, right? Like, she can't leave her phone, and she loved that week. She was so happy to give it to me, and she didn't have it for a week. I felt like, like I had a hard time because I couldn't communicate with her, right? But it was great for her. She said she loved that. That taught her probably more than anything. And she said the first week she ever did that, she said that she realized how often she kept looking for her phone.
Yeah, for like no reason. It's so interesting. There's another podcast I listen to, and I listen to these podcasts when I walk. I do, like, what we talked about, walking meditations. It's called The Happiness Project, and it's by a psychologist who is a professor at Yale, and she does a class that is the most popular class in Yale's history. So she has a waiting list of hundreds of students every year that want to take this course. And the first thing she tells them when she goes in is, you are not allowed to have your phone. You are not allowed to have your computer. You're going to take this class with a pen and paper. And the kids go nuts. There's a waiting list to get into her class.
Wow,
and she's now nationally known for that. And everyone on Yale's campus wants to take it, no matter what their major is. They all want the class about happiness. And she said they come back to me and say, oh my God, for this class, for the hour and a half of this class is, I don't have my phone, and it's so nice.
Right.
And it's like giving these kids permission to be like, you don't have to be accessible to anyone 24/7. Anyone. I mean, I remember in college, I talked to my parents like once a month, you guys. I would call and be like, hey, I'm still alive, having fun, bye. Literally, I didn't talk to my parent. I was too busy having a ball. Too busy.
Crazy. And it's true, because I text my kids all the time, and they don't text back all the time, I'm not going to lie, but unless they need money, then all of a sudden I'm very.
But imagine that, Kim. I'm not exaggerating. I would talk to my parents, like me initiating the conversation, maybe once a month from the hall phone that you had to pay, the hall pay phone. Maybe once a month.
But I honestly think it's kind of healthier. Like, I do agree. Like, on some level, we've got to allow ourselves to maybe that should be a project we should start. 48-hour. If I don't get back to you in a week, then reach out to me.
Workshops where you have to leave your phone in a basket and you get it at home. If there's an emergency, we'll let you know. Other than that, I think people would love it. People would reconnect. I can't tell you how many times we're talking about this, but how many times you're at a restaurant, you see a couple and they're literally on their phones. I'm like, oh my God, we're sitting right across from each other. Sad.
Right.
So I'm going to write that down.
Things I'm going to get done today. Hide my own phone.
Yes. Put your phone in a lockbox. And then if anybody has to really get a hold of you, the homing pigeon is the only way it's going to work.
A homing pigeon. Oh my gosh.
But all of these things too are really adding. We do have a sense of, for how connected we are, we're super disconnected
We're disconnected from ourselves. That's the problem, because we're so super connected with everyone else. And listen, I'd be like silly to say that I don't recognize the fact that we're now on the internet and that's what we're doing, right?
Yeah.
So I've made that joke and that comment many times since we've been doing this. But we being on YouTube, being on Facebook, sounds hypocritical. And we could sit there and say, well, but we're using it for good, and we are using it for good. But it's very interesting to think back. Kim doing a women's group in the salon, Tracy doing comedy shows with you on stages in front of people that were like human and live. That's why we have to take this on the road and get that going. That's going to be something we should all put out there for the universe, because Wonder Triplets activate. Okay. Is what I'm saying.
Yes.
On the topic of pressure, I just want to see, Kim, like, I understand that this is a really great tool. And I know that some of the people had expressed that there's a little bit of confusion. And I kid you not when I say, like, I really think it's a great idea to go over to YouTube and to Abraham. I love Abraham Hicks. I've been listening to Abraham Hicks for years. Yes. And it's like, we cannot sit here and say that all these tools are just from us. We know that they come from other resources, and we're here discussing and explaining them. So Abraham Hicks, go over for the Placemat Process. My dog's just barking. I'm just going to keep talking until hopefully he's not hearing my dog bark. But if there's something else, is there something else, or what else could maybe we talk about tonight, like a tangible tool for people that are really experiencing feeling overwhelmed? I mean, I know the obvious one is meditation, but.
Well, I also think that one of the things I say all the time is that when you're overwhelmed, it's because part of it, the problem has to do with judgments, opinions, feeling like, because if you didn't care what anybody thinks, you might be able to discern better what really needs to get done first and what your priorities are. A lot of times our priorities get skewed by what they're going to think. So that is a really important thing to understand when it comes to feeling overwhelmed, is that often being overwhelmed means that you have other energies in your energy field besides you. So the first thing to do is get centered, which is not the same as being grounded. And what getting centered is, being grounded means bringing your energy into your body. Being centered means having your energy in balance, chakra, like, without being pulled on by other entities. And that those other entities are usually other people, right? So I know, like, when I was married, my energy was like completely in a weird direction, because I so much had started to live by the rules that were set up in our marriage, my being quiet and contained and being a certain way that kept the peace, right? That kept the peace. And so that when I had to pull away from that marriage, I realized I had forgotten like what was important to me, because I was so much about making peace in that marriage. That's what I mean by being pulled on by other energies. It's not necessarily that he was like taking my energy and saying I'm pulling it on it. What was happening was, in order for me to be at peace in that marriage, I had to kind of shift my energy around and behave in ways that weren't like 100% authentic. Does that make sense?
Yes, totally.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do that, unfortunately.
Yes. So a good way it's very hard to get centered when you're worried about the judgment of other people, but it is possible, right? So a good centering tool is something like meditation and cutting cords, right? So imagining all the people in your life and where their energy might be coming into your body. So if you understood the chakra system, which I've gone over 1,000 times here, but even if you don't, you could just imagine an energy cord that was like gray or black or not pure white, and just imagine like taking a sword of light and cutting it. So that's like something, spiritual that you could do. But another thing that you could do if you're really feeling overwhelmed, besides that, is something that I really love a lot, and that's called segment intending, and just using your day and
Say that again slower. You said it really fast.
Segment intending.
Okay,
so segment intending is using whatever segment of your day in and breaking your day down into segments, whatever segment you're in, to almost kind of like think of it as a beginning and a middle and an end. And that segment is what you're going to focus on. So that's a way to ground yourself in present time. So this is a segment, right? This show is a segment. So I could say, for this segment, what do I want, right? So I'm feeling very overwhelmed. So for this segment, what do I want? What I really want in this segment is I want to just like let all of life go and just be present with my friends, right? Present with my friends watching. So that's an intention that I'm setting up. So if you could set up little intentions in different segments. So when I leave this show, what would I want? I want to go to, because after I'm done, I try to meditate before I go to bed. So I'm going to have a really good meditation, and then I'm going to go to sleep well, right? And sleep well. That might be in the next segment. So if you could bring your days into segments, that's a way of also gaining control of feeling like I'm just here right now, and I'm just going to deal with this segment. What can I get done right now? And what is my intention for this segment? One of the things that happened to me at work was I was so overwhelmed. I was becoming a grumpy biatch. I was not happy ever. And I actually had people come up to me and say, because I'm usually like the happy, I can't help it. I tend to be effervescent, bubbly. It's just my personality. And people are like, are you okay? Like,
are you going to like snap?
Like I think I was snapping, right? Like are you okay? And I looked at somebody and I'm like, no, not really. Like, and I wasn't. I really wasn't okay. I needed to make a decision that I wasn't going to be, that I no longer was willing to use my life and allow any minute of it just to be so unhappy. I was really unhappy with all the things that I have to get done. So if you can use a segment to remind yourself that this is it, you don't get any more than right now. This is it. And what you're doing in this moment is actually attracting the next one, right? So if you're really sitting here and you're watching this and you're feeling like, oh, they did this and they did that and this and this and this, because that was what was happening. I was getting so angry at other people because I was feeling like they are making me do all this stuff. Now, they're not. I could just get up and walk out. Like, it's a free country.
Right. But that's not as easy to remember. I mean, I think that's so important, Kim. And I think it's so unbelievable. And I can't remember what singer, but there was a singer that was talking about it. And she was talking about, and it may be in one of her songs. She was like, well, it is a song in the Eagles where you have yourself in chains and you never even know. No. It's the line is, you have yourself in chains and you never even know you have the key. It's like you can literally just walk away from the situation at hand, not, always walk away.
I work with this guy who has a very high pressure job, and he actually said to me, because I was like shocked because of some feedback he had been given. And he was really kind about it. He's a really great guy to work with. And he said, you do know, like, I stood in front of a panel of people and answered questions in order to get this job. Like, so I got to take what comes, the good with the bad. And if we can remind ourselves, like, I have a choice, right? And in every segment, I have a choice. And this is it. This is all I get. There's this moment. This is it. I'm so lucky that I love this moment so much because I'm with you guys and I'm with whomever's watching. And this is it. I don't get a redo of this moment. I just don't. So everybody who interacts with me is going to be polluted by my energy right now. And that's what really happens. So if you could remind yourself, I'm going to start a new segment. And the thing is, that's great about being overwhelmed. Like, you really feel it, right? Like, I really feel it. Like, I was like, wow, this is acute and I'm feeling really unhappy. Like, like
you feel like physically, I feel physically like, oh my God, I'm going to give myself a heart attack.
And that's how I was feeling. Like, I'm going to actually have a heart attack. Like, So you really feel it. And so, oh, hi. So,
Hi, Katie.
We miss you.
All the way from Arizona. We're going to see you soon, we hope.
So one of the things about having those moments that you really feel is it wakes you up, right? Like, oh, I'm feeling like I'm going to have a heart attack over this.
Yes.
Right? Like over this, over
this.
a party and being busy at work and having to fly to Italy. Like, I'm going to have a heart attack over this. This is not worth it. Like, I'm sorry, whatever you're going through, none of it is worth a heart attack, because sooner or later, something better is going to come along and you're going to want to be alive for it. Right? You're going to want to, you're going to want to see it. Like, I got to spend some time with my daughter the other day where she was like nice to me. And I was so.
She doesn't watch anybody. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, exactly. She's like, Mom.
Box.
But what was great is because I am awake, right? I'm awake when in those moments I was like, wow, like, I'm going to really milk this. And I did. It was like such a nice moment of getting, although you can't do too much because, like if you try to smother, then they just back up. But I was just like really present for it and just available. And so when you have that feeling very overwhelmed, you'll be present for it too. You'll know, because you'll start to feel grumpy, angry, all these negative feelings. And I'm like, oh, this is my life. So I'd like to start a new segment with this breath. My intention is, and then just say, my intention is, I'm just going to get this done in this moment. And I'm going to even put a smile on your face. Try to smile and stay really angry. It's really hard to do. Like, yes. It's like almost impossible. It's like we are so trained to have our feelings match the way we look that if you listen to Buddhism tapes, a lot of them, they'll say smile in it. And so like the meditations, and I'm always like giggling in the middle of my meditation because I'm like, I can't not giggle and smile. So there's things
I'm laughing because you just said tapes.
I know.
I'm kidding. I said cassettes the other day at work, and someone was like,
because I'm a billion.
No, you're not. You might be. Maybe this is like your, I don't know, 75th time year. It could be.
Yeah, right? Right?
Yeah. But I love that. The segments I do, because I do that a lot and don't even recognize that I do it. Like when we were planning our trip to go to Arizona, people were like, aren't you excited about your vacation? I'm like, yeah. They're like, don't you want to talk about it? I'm like, no. They're like, why? I'm like, because I don't want to talk about it until I get closer to it. Because I feel like sometimes you talk too much about something that's really good and you have this feeling of overwhelmment over here, it can muddy it. Sometimes it's not always that the elevation of that moment can bring up what's happening. Like if you're going through something horrible, like, my building being sold, trying to figure out what's going on for work, the stress that we're all under every day, the loss of a parent or grandparent, sometimes you just have to compartmentalize. And I think that you can segment for that as well to try to clear. It's like, I'm not going to clean this whole house in one moment. But if I compartmentalize and turn it into segments and say, well, I'm going to start with a drawer and then I'm going to do, the closet. That's just another way I just wanted to add that because we are talking about, trying to segment joy, which is great. But I think that there are so many people that you're on the lower end of the emotional scale trying to work your way up, knowing it's one step at a time, one drawer at a time, throwing one thing out at a time. And I think that's just equally important because I think some people are just so overwhelmed right now.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that I've learned is just do what's in front of you. Just do exactly what's in front of you. For the instance that what Kim is saying, making your bed. That seems like such a minute thing. It is such a major thing. When your bed is made, you just feel like calmer. It's clean, and it sets you into motion. I think what happens, Kim, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like you do one little thing and you master that, and then you're set. You're doing like something great for yourself. So you build that confidence of like, okay, now I'm going to make the bed and I'm going to, sweep, or I'm going to pick it up as you take it off. Right. Don't leave it on the floor. Just throw it away while you're thinking of it. Hang it on a hanger while you're right there. Don't put it off. Just to get it done. And it builds.
Interesting. I had a really great I had a great mentor when I was in college, and I'll never forget this piece of information she gave me because I had like 7 papers to write in 1 week, and because I had a double major. And she said to me, "Well, if you have 1 rock and 7 snakes coming at you, what do you do? Which one do you throw the rock at?" Right? And I said, "I guess the closest one."
Yep.
And she said, "You throw the rock at the closest one, you get that out of the way, and then you pick the rock up again." And that's basically what we have to do. But what happens is when it feels like it's all coming at us, sometimes we have to be able to see what is the most important snake to throw the rock. And then please don't think that I'm out there killing snakes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, she's responsible for getting the snakes from Ireland.
Yeah.
Look who's here. Tina Kopko from last week.
Oh my God. I wanted to talk about her all the time. It was such a great show.
That was an amazing show.
All right, what'd she say?
I think a lot of people have been trained that they have to overachieve or set huge, impossible goals, or else they'll be judged as a slacker.
Yes.
But it constantly keeps them overwhelmed and living in the future.
Totally.
And I had a conversation recently about that. You don't want to be a future liver, and you don't want to be living in the past. You want to stay in the moment.
Yeah, and in the moment is all where your power is. So like if you are in the moment with the rock and the snake, that they're like, not that I'm.
You could come up with another analogy.
I don't want to kill snakes.
Yeah, well, no. But I think what Tina's saying is so important is like, it's not a badge of honor to be overwhelmed and overscheduled and over.
And I think that we are trained. We're trained like, oh, I did all this in a day. Like, good for you. Like, I relax. I think we should all like make it part of our like goals that we talk about how much we relaxed in a day. Like everybody watching this, start sharing how often you relax because let that happen. Let that become normal. Oh my God, I totally relax.
Normalize relaxing. I think
no,
but it is. It's huge.
I think that should be part of the open-minded mystics movement.
It should. You know what? It's so interesting because
Tina.
I just finished my job, which I'm very excited about. So we have a hiatus. And I said to Chris, we were talking, and I was like, you know what? You need to start like your job ends at 5. That's it. Put the phone down, put it away, put the computer, close it. That's it.
Yeah.
Like you'll get done what you need to get done if you know, and then you really need to relax for real.
Right. And I definitely think that part of being so connected, she's back. It makes it a big It was like and
you passed out and then she relaxed and came back.
No, I dropped the
Hey, Marie. Yay, Marie.
Yay, Marie. You ready to go, girl. Hope you did that on your balcony. It's gorgeous.
Everybody listening, tell everybody how much you relax every day. Like, I relax for 3 hours. Like we really have to start normalizing relaxing.
Yes,
I think that's a great idea.
That should be like, we should make banners and stuff.
I relax.
I love it.
All right. Well, you know what time it is, right?
Mm-hmm. It's angel card time.
Oh, here we go.
Angel card time. It's angel card time.
So funny. It is. It's angel card time. So you guys know, first of all, I want to say thank you to both of my fellow mystics and everyone that bared with me in the beginning because I was having some major technical difficulties, but it was perfect because it was the perfect way to start a show about pressure and feeling under pressure because I totally did feel under pressure.
You did a great job.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And now I'm going to go relax. And
amen.
And so
me too.
I just want to remind everyone that we are here every Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube and Facebook. And if you are just finding us, welcome. If not, welcome back. And please make sure to like, subscribe, and share as we build our team of light workers up. It's like really important. It really is now more than ever to have people with more of a positive mindset. And if you've never been here for this part, this is like, if you eat a fortune cookie, this is the message part of the show. I love it.
Fortune cookie time only.
I love fortune cookies. And I like to eat them with Hershey Kisses, and they're so good. So if you connect with the energy of Tracy, myself, or Kim, then the reading is also for you. And really what it is, they're angel cards, and they were a beautiful gift from Kim to me a couple of years ago for my birthday. I love them because they have great messages, and don't we all need a great message to go to sleep and meditate on?
Yes.
And whoa, Marie. She said Venus, Uranus, and Pluto are in retrograde.
Oh my God.
I feel it, girl.
That makes total sense why the computer was going wonky. All right. So here we go. Are you ready? Let's see. I think tonight we're going to give it to Kim first.
Go me.
You're going to pick first.
Okay. And stop.
Oh!
Got you right on
The
this.
first card up is trust. Let it
Trust.
work out, Kim. That's perfect for
Okay.
you. We, your angels, are here to nurture, protect, and heal you. Trust in the healing power of our love. We love you more than you'll ever know. That's perfect for you right now.
It
That
is
is.
perfect. Thank you.
And then sacred knowledge. Close your eyes and focus on your breath. Feel the peace within. Beyond your thoughts lies your eternal truth, the I am presence of eternal love. Now, there you go. Now you know what you should think about with your meditation.
I love it. I love it.
All right. If you are with Kim's energy, then those are for you too. Tracy Locke. I'm going to.
Ready for my angel message, angels. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Give it to me, angels. Right there.
Okay. First one up. I feel like Yolanda Vega every time I say this. The first one up. Transformation.
Oh, that's a new one. Wait,
Through the great love that holds you in its embrace, you are moment by moment transforming to ever greater light, ever greater oneness, and ever greater wisdom.
Yes.
Awesome.
The transformer,
Yes.
the bumblebee.
Okay.
I love it, my guy, Archangel Michael.
Okay.
Go ahead. Tell me.
The path is now clear. I have removed all obstacles in your way. You can move forward now with ease and confidence. You will
you,
achieve what
Archangel.
your heart desires. Put it on
Thank
that
you,
paper.
Michael.
And last but not least, your producer. Let's see. What am I going to have?
Go, Donna. Go, Donna.
Thanks, Kim. I love that. All right, here we go. Here we go. First card up is Divine Mystery.
Get that last week.
I love that. You, along with the sun, earth, moon, and stars, are part of one creation, a divine mystery unfolding each moment. Be present and feel the power of now. Come on. Be in the moment and witness the wonder of it all. Did we not just talk about that?
Yes, we did.
I love that. Last but not least, Archangel Sandalphon.
Oh.
I've heard your call for help. Your prayer will soon be answered.
That's awesome.
That's a
That is
great
like-
one.
That is it right there. I didn't even have to write it down.
Sandalphon is in your back pocket, girl.
That's
telling
awesome.
you, it's
That's
all
awesome.
happening. That's right, Maria. Good woo. Yeah.
Woohoo.
I love it. Can I have the name of the card so I can get them? Yes. These are great. So these are Healing Angel cards, Katie, and they're beautiful. And it's by Tony Carmine Salerno, a nice local Italian. And I love that. And they're beautiful. Loving guidance from the angels. Yep.
Okay, I have to say, because Katie's on the line right now, I sound like I'm from
Yeah, you just got
1975.
like, because we take.
But I meant what I mean is Katie is going to be on our show.
Oh,
and
that's
she's
awesome.
in Sedona, Arizona, Kim, and Katie's we went to her workshop when we were in Sedona. She's unbelievably magical, and I cannot wait for you to meet her, Kim. You're gonna fall in love. I love her.
Yeah.
I just finished her book. I do her workbook all the time, Katie. I can't wait to see you again. Just
Yeah,
have to throw
that
that out
sounds
there.
great.
Her
So-
energy is amazing.
She's unbelievable.
awesome.
She's so cool. I'm going back to Sedona. We're all going back to Sedona
Sounds
just
good.
to see Katie, kids.
I just want to mention something. Remember Tina from last week? She's
Yes.
awesome, and she's going to be having a grief group on Tuesday nights. So she had put it out there, so it's on some of our social medias.
Okay.
What she's doing.
Yes, I'm going to
Yeah.
be doing that. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yes,
amazing.
you will,
Yeah.
Katie. You will. Trust me.
Can't wait
You
to meet
will.
you, Katie.
I love all the love, right? Isn't
Yeah.
it amazing? Like, I feel like we're overwhelmed with love, and that's
Yes.
really sweet. I love it. So thank you to everyone that watched this week and every week. Thanks for being here, for being part of our Vibe Tribe. We love you. We appreciate you. And together we can elevate the vibration. This
Of the global
elevate the vibration of the
population.
global population. But
Amen.
I don't know what's happening with my dog.
She
So-
loves love.
I know. So thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Right. Ciao for now.